Okay. Okie dokie. 1 second here. Jeez. Okay, thank you for watching my word. Thank you for watching here on YouTube live if you're watching live or whenever you log on. Blooming Tribe, Blooming Light. Oh, the games. Oh, the games. So, anywho, if you don't know who I am, if you're new, whenever you click on, I invite you to, of course, look at the homepage, look at all the videos, the links that I have here, yada, yada. Okay? Okay. So now this is really dedicated to those of you, you're on some kind of woke path, ascension path, target individual, um, whatever you want to call it. Don't get too stuck on the semantics, but you just know, okay, that there's been some really weirdy shit that has been happening into your life. And most of you could be like myself. You went on a religious path, you went on a deconstruction of that, get into spirituality, realized that sometimes it's just religion out of another hole. Then you started dealing with, just consciousness, understanding that, hey, this is a journey, and, just looking at toxic behavior. Okay. So many of you realize that you were in cults with religion, and some of you realize that you come from a cultic like family that could be narcissistic in nature, that just so happens to be a part of actual cults that are practicing, baneful workings on you, yada, yada, yada. Okay. So this gets convoluted. On a religious path, many of you have been made to feel like you were cursed, right? All of the bad things that seeming to be unreal happening to you was to do with a curse, either an ancestry curse, either a curse as a result of disobedience. But you were convinced and brainwashed into thinking that was the case. If you were on the religious path, on the spiritual path, it took on the same thing. It's just called something else. Oh, you have a karmic debt, only to discover that some of the shit is bullshit, because some of it was a trick. Okay, some of this stuff was hijacked deception to make you feel like you were supposed to be working some shit off that you wasn't supposed to be working off to begin with. Okay, so then you go down that path because you're like, okay, throughout it all, you're really trying to heal. You're trying to do what you think is healing. You're trying to be a better person. You're trying to learn your lessons and make better choices in life. But yet and still, you could have been being told that, one way or another is curses, right? A curse, generational curse, a curse because um, not living right, or left a religion or stuff like that. Meanwhile, you got killers anyway. Let me get out of there. So, okay. So you push. Like, okay, if you're anything like me, you could have went down paths like, okay, then you got to get dedicated to be wholehearted to the Lord. Shit. Okay. Live right. Clean up, bitch. You know? And still, and yet still, okay, then, okay, then you're told, generational curses, spiritual, so they want you to think that. And there's trickery with that, because there's destiny swapping things that people can do. There's, and those that understand the energy world on that level, they know what I'm talking about, because they're the ones, most of them are the ones that are taking advantage of what most of the world don't know about, okay, or at least won't believe, that is kind of brushed off, okay. So then, that's what was going on, but it was kind of you were made to believe it was still somehow, still, right? Now, after a while, the more you're on your journey, that's why I said, oh, the games. After a while, you get here. You get here where what I'm talking about right now. You get here and you realize you see through it all. You start to realize like it's none of that. And in some cases, ain't even a spell word. Because I know some of you are gonna some of you all are gonna say, "Oh, well, yeah, okay, so it was people doing spell work." True, but that ain't it. Some of which y'all gonna discover. That's why I said, "Oh, the games." Some of it, sure, no doubt. Okay, especially those of us, you got high level organizations after you and stuff like that, no doubt. But here's what's kind of a little bit funny, but not funny. You know how people want to look powerful? I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm gonna give y'all a lowdown. It says, Amy Bloom, I'll be right here. I just looked across the room and I saw something that says, Amy Bloom, I'll be right here. Okay. Here's what's funny to me. See, a part of these organizations, whether this is actual cults, churches, family members, whatever the case, groups, communities that's cult like, businesses, people with power and money and muscle. Listen to me. Some of the things that they can do, okay? Some of the things you can do. You can use your connects and your muscle and your resources on the target to make things difficult. In other words, for an example, you can send people to be mean to them. You can tell people in positions of power to give them a hard time and be difficult unnecessarily. You can pay people to do all sorts of things, right? To sabotage their every effort unbeknownst to them. So it looks like it's the power of God. It looks like it's judgment and punishment. It looks like it's a spell that was effective. No, bitch, it ain't a spell. Is your retarded ass went over there and paid somebody to do some shit. That ain't power. That is just criminality. There's a difference. But back to what I'm saying. To make something look to the person, the target, no doubt, because this is behind your back, but more than that, to the world who's watching you, the ignorant world that's watching you, the blind world that's watching you, the colonized world that's watching you. Okay? To also be an example, so to keep them good and colonized. So the, oh shit. To make sure to keep the cult members, bitch, keep their See, this is what happens when you leave. You better not ever leave because you don't want that to happen to you. You don't want that to happen to you, do you? You don't want that to happen to you. You see what they want going through. You see what happened to their kid. You don't want that to happen to you. That's all fuckery, brainwashing. Okay? That's none of that. That's you don't want that to happen to you. Basically, they're fucking thugs. They're thugs. You don't want that to happen to you. See, you see what happened to the collective? Oh, you better not leave. Oh, gosh. You better hurry up. Hurry up and get good and locked in. You don't have to get right. Oh, that was the power of God. No, it was the power of a thief. It was the power of criminal minds. It was the power of people in power deciding to use their muscle, their position, their money, and their resources to make problems for somebody, to make things unnecessarily difficult so that that person can give up and feel like they're cursed, to feel like they're hopeless, to feel like they're helpless, to feel like they're crazy, to feel like maybe they need to repent, to feel like maybe they do need a teacher. And when they ain't nothing to do with needing a teacher, it's needing is shit to do with motherfuckers need to leave you alone. Ain't shit to do with need no mentor. It's need criminals' asses whoop. It's need. That's what it's. But it's all designed to make the target feel that way and to make anyone looking at the target, including the current colonized mind individuals, as an example, as a precautionary tale. You better get saved today. Well, it was going on when the collective was saved. Now let's, you better, you know, because they can't explain that. This is the curse. So why? See, when I'm started to just clear my eyes and getting down to the meat and potatoes, it's like, damn, nobody want to talk about it, but it's still the truth anyway. It's okay. It's okay. Because you got, like I said, we got full killers walking right in your face right now, right in your face every day, smiling, eating tacos and tater chips. Okay? You got full thug bones and tragedy and catastrophe walking around every day doing shit. Okay? Being bullies, being wannabe ass makeshift, Lattimores and shit. You have pedophiles, traffickers. I can go on and on every day that is walking loose and living a high life. Where is the judgment and curse of the Lord or God or whatever for these people? Oh, I get it. When they die, one day, someday, maybe. People violating folks like my son every single day, and they living in mansions. They're living and creating off of energy like my sons every day. Like they're a reciprocal, a fucking battery source to be dismissed once drained entirely, dead bones, and throw them in a river somewhere. And make it seem like it's their parents' fault. Then they sabotage their parents. That ain't curses. That ain't these people just being weak and not having strength enough or resolve enough, or that's none of those things. But that's what they'd have you believe. And that's what they've convinced the world to believe. These people are folks, some of these folks are folks that feed off of folks like my son, like I just said, and then they dispose of their bodies in the river. They sabotage their health and well-being, and then they're the ones that will call CPS and all of these various welfare departments stating claims that their parent or their caretaker is not capable of taking care of them. And they're the same ones that would stalk those disabled people, do stuff to them in their dream, affect their physical health to where they're tired and drained and don't feel safe, and then causes them to get conditions like PTSD and OCD, which manifest from trauma. They don't want to change their clothes and they don't want to do this and that. And you got to basically have to force them to do certain things because they're trying to find stability. They're trying to find a sense of comfort. They're trying to find a sense of familiarity because they don't feel safe. Their energy is being assaulted in every direction. People are coming up to them playing like they're friends because they're on some kind of assignment to either exchange some nasty energy with them or to try to convince them that they're trustworthy to have access to do baneful shit. Those aren't curses, though. That's not what that is. None of what I'm speaking of is curses. What I'm speaking of is a bunch of degenerate ass, highfalutin, makeshift ass wannabe motherfuckers with positions of power and authority and resources and have mental illness and feel entitled and decided to target vulnerable populations and people that they think are alone. That ain't a curse. It's criminality. That ain't a curse. That ain't some kind of shimmy, shimmy. That ain't none of that. It's niggas and bitches and bitches and niggas. It's, and I don't care if they Chinese, it's a Mexican, it's the white, it's all colors. They ain't got shit to do with, oh my God, this is a punishment. Yeah, for leaving a cult. A punishment, indeed. A punishment for leaving a cult. A punishment for daring to be an individual. Correct. A punishment to call out bullshit. Correct. A punishment for speaking when people cross your boundaries. Correct. A punishment for calling out people sitting there abusing divination, abusing spiritual work, and then they call themselves something special, bitch, because they fucking Mason, whatever the fuck they think they are, spiritualist, witch, little witch, big witch, all witch, whatever the fuck people want to call themselves. Distorting knowledge, or abusing knowledge, abusing those things on people who can't defend themselves, like the disabled people, on people who haven't had ample time to even sift through all of the bullshit that was stuffed down them from the beginning to even have a clue about dealing with whatever the fuck it is. And then got the audacity to want to call some kind of authorities and folks. That's when you know you're sickos. What it is sickos. You're dealing with organized criminality sickos. Because who systematically and continually abuses and assaults somebody, and then on the flip, then turn around and go report to the authorities that this person is not living up to snuff? That sounds like a whole setup to me. Collective. Oh, the games. Everything that is happening to you is not because you're a bad person. It is not because you're cursed. It's not because you didn't do proper shadow work. It's not because you need to do further shadow work. It's not because, see, and I have respect for, definitely esoteric and metaphysical. That, I'm not disclaiming that, but I also do too realize that some shit is just, the nigga is, they criminals, bitch. Let's just stop playing. Okay, some stuff ain't mystical. This is criminal minds. Now, there's mysticism because the dark arts are involved and they're violating energetically, but sometimes it ain't got nothing to do with somebody need more healing. Sometimes it ain't got nothing to do with somebody needs some old shadow work or they got a mental illness. No, the mental illness are these criminals. They're the mentally ill motherfuckers. Oh, they mentally ill. Why are they mentally ill? Why is the collective mentally ill? Huh? Answer this question. Why are they mentally ill in your esteem? Why are they just having mental problems? Because what? Because they told on your ass about what you did to them? Because what? Why are they mentally ill? Because they have a boundary, or because they're struggling because people are physically trying to unalive them every damn day? Because people doing spiritual work, people who've been doing spiritual work for 1,000 years, long before they even had an opportunity to learn who the fuck they were. Because they're struggling, they're mentally ill. What? Because what? They're not handling it well enough. People putting poison in their food, and people constantly trying to make them uncomfortable. Why are they mentally ill? Because they're telling the truth that there are people stalking them and it's just inconvenient for you to believe it? No, the collective is just fine, probably even above average. Okay? And they have been dealing with their life and their energy being constantly assaulted by powers that be, and just by a whole array of folks, weirdos, exes, people who feel entitled to them and pissed that they decided they don't want nothing else to do with them, and so now they wants to make their life miserable because they ain't want to fuck with them no more, and if they can't have, just mentally ill people. Other people's crazies, they're crazy bitches and family members and shit and niggas. Because people out here living like that, they out here fucking everything with holes in it. Cloud chasing, money hungry, pussy hungry. And then these people start coming for them, throwing their stanky ass, dirty, baby dirty ass diapers on lawns and shit. Fucking weird, hoovering around. You know what I'm saying? That ain't the collective in need. That's needing to address the the collective mental illness of these criminals, these weirdos. They crazy. No, they crazy. You ain't cursed, collective. You're not, there's nothing wrong with you. You're not hopeless. You're not helpless. You're actually pretty damn powerful, which is why they had to get all the spells, bitch. They had to find all witches. They had to find the fucking, the famous ones, the top of the line ones. They had to contact the ones that's been doing this for 100 million years and shit, bitch. They wouldn't have did that if you wasn't, because it wouldn't have been required, would it? If it was simple, huh? That's my thought. That's my point exactly. So you're not weak. You're not weak. You're not dumb. I'm not saying y'all don't have your issues and flaws, and chances are you've aged, and considering all of the shit ton of shit they've put on you and your children, you know on top of the natural processes. So sure, that may be of some level affected, but that's not why. And this is what these people do. They use all these seasons. They use, oh, they're just PMS. Oh, they're just stressed. Oh, they're just menopause. Oh, they're just midlife crisis. No. Oh, like I said, some of them, they try that whole spiritual religious shit. Oh, this is because they started that spiritual journey. That's why they start playing with them tarot cards, and they start, we don't fool with that. We don't fool with that. Yeah, but you whore around. You sleep with people's husbands and wives. You'll steal people's money. You'll sign fraudulent documents. You'll lie for a killer and thief. Oh, we don't fool. We don't fool with that. We don't fool with them tarot cards. We don't do that stuff. We don't mess with crystals, and that's, the Bible says, we don't do that. But we do. We're pedophiles. Okay. we will take the purity and the innocence of the young. We will do that. We'll do that. We'll commit incest with our own. We'll do that. We'll have double lives. We'll do that. We'll get people jumped and then go to church on Sunday talking about I'm saved. I'm saved. I'm delivered. See my cross? See how tall it is around my neck? Over the weekend, you're plotting with your niggas and your boys and your girls to go do some shenanigans. We saved. Mm-hmm. Ignorance. You have a right to explore. And I just want to say to whoever you are, collective, you might not be in tarot. You might not be into tarot or crystals, and that's actually okay as well. But here is what I want to say. If you are starting to want to explore various different modalities in life on your own life journey, you want to look into religions and study it, you want to look into spiritualities, and you're feeling drawn and you want to check it out, you're an adult. See, this is what I'm saying about narcissistic cultic culture. Okay? And also about those who want to monopolize knowledge and get upset when people who aren't a part of their little clique. You have a right. That's your divinity. That's your sovereignty. That's your right to be, to journey. And hopefully we're doing this healthily. And hopefully we're not going out of our way to cross the line and violate the rights of others. But outside of that, you have a right. And to be unbothered and to not have your energy or your platforms or your life targeted because you exercise your freedom of speech, you exercise your opinion, you exercise, you know what I'm saying? And so stand on that. You're not cursed. You have a bunch of control freaks full of fear, greed, and entitlement. Yes, they are. Crazy is an understatement. Extremely crazy. And they will be dealt with accordingly. Guarantee. Now back to what I was saying. You're not cursed. You have a bunch of control freaks, stalker weirdos, and people in position of power, control, with resources and money, and their disillusionment and their grandiose. One of them just came in here stalking and had the boldness to make a statement, and I called him out on it. He said, crazy? I'll say, yes, you're correct. They are. You all are crazy. And he walked past. See, they're getting very sloppy. They're sloppy. They're getting lazy, sloppy, and obvious in their shit. Walking in and then walking out. Who does that? Walks in, looks at you, and walks out. That's what I said. They're sloppy. They're not as brilliant as they think they are. They're not as superior as they think they are. They think because they come and look at a book that I'm not going to know the difference between. Nigga, your dumb ass just walked over here, walked into the stove, walked over where I'm at, looked at me, double looked at me, then looked at a magazine, got your dumb ass, and went back over and said some shit, talking about crazy, haha, laughing some shit with your dumb ass. And then walks right out, mumbling something. They're obvious. Why are you here? Because you're a weirdo stalker on assignment like the rest. Anyway, yeah, I said that because I'm like, really? Y'all should have saw that. It's like, nigga, please. I'm sitting over here minding my business. You over here on assignment. Now who's crazy? I'm crazy because I can see them. See, that's what they don't like. I can see past their little camouflagey strategies. Oh, I'm just coming in at Barnes and Nobles. I'm just shopping. Oh, I just so happen to be needing to be on every aisle you're on and lurking about where you're at. Oh, I'll just come look at a magazine, pick it up, and then walk out the door. Gosh, I mean, they could start making it a little bit more smarter. Pretend, bitch, go buy some candy. There's some of the other motherfuckers at least come in and pretend, bitch. Anywho, so obvious. These people are so obvious. Anyway, back to what I'm saying. Hey, keep on looking. Your ass again. Oh, keep on. Ooh, okay, let me end this. And I'm going to wrap it up and say, once again, sometimes, sure, we have people doing spell work. That is something they've been doing on the collective and their children every day. But more than that, we do have people just physically sabotaging. So it ain't got nothing to do with a curse. It's an action. It's an action that people are taking. People are trafficking kids every day. Are those kids deserving of that? Did they, why? That's people taking action. Again, they had some strange kids coming here. They even use kids doing shit. That's why I said these motherfuckers gonna go up in flames. They use kids to come in and be weird. Kids, youngsters, go over there and do that, or let me know who's in there and go. Like, that's sad. This is why I know these are the ones that are mentally ill. This is why I'm convinced, and there's nobody that's gonna tell me different, and I don't care how many degrees they got. There's nobody that's going to tell me different. It's sickness. It's a mental illness. You're using youth, you're using kids to come and spy on people. You fucked in the head. And you teaching them how to be sociopaths. Oh, what a great example you are to these children, you retarded fucks. Don't care nothing about these kids. Ought to be shaming yourself. Go over there. Because y'all think that the targeted population is not suspecting, but this is what you need to know. Everyone is suspect to us at this point. So it can be an old lady with a cane. She is suspect as far as we're concerned. Okay? Everyone is suspect to us at this point. So you can bring in little Susie with the curls, and you can bring whatever you wants to do, and they suspect because of their mammy and their daddies. Retarded parents. They're retarded caretakers that's using them. So amp up your game, weirdos. Anyway, at some point, collective, they just get sloppy, and I think it's because either they get sloppy or it's just that you're just more aware, or both. Because some stuff I'm like, damn, you ain't even trying. You ain't even trying to be inconspicuous. You like coming in FedEx center and walking, lurking and looking and then walking out. It makes you look obvious. So here's where I'm going with all of that being said. I will continue to tell the story. I told a first part of the story on my TikTok. I'll have to upload that for y'all, but I'm doing it in pieces because it's too much. So I did just the portion of the whole, getting to Texas and some of the things that have transpired. And I still have a little bit more to share in terms of at each location, each experience, all of those things, including, when I was dating, including when I was working, and all of those things. I will be including that. And then as we go beyond Texas, I'm going to get into, California. I'm going to get into Nevada. I'm going to get into, when I was a youngster, who I was dating then, who I got involved with, and what that led to, and how I feel like it's tying in all into some of these injustices that me and my son has lived up to this very moment. Okay. And I'm doing this because I have to. I am going to create a GoFundMe page. I'm seeing that as a trend. And the GoFundMe is going to be to fund for legal stuff, but not just legal, to fund for relocation. Okay. I was trying to wait until my son's, until his lease was up, but I'm not trying to live like that. I'm not trying to have him constantly subjected to these weirdos if I can help it. Okay, there's spell work trying to hurt him. I can't order him a decent meal without thinking that some retarded inbred cunt, you know what I'm saying, put some shit in his food. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I want to keep him subjected to that long. Him not being comfortable. He's got all these amenities. And the reason why he's not comfortable because he's been traumatized and he is surrounded by mental patients that is trying to cause problems for him and his mother. people just rude and ignorant, like he don't have a right to be here and look where he want to look. I can't say I blame him. You know, I'm making good of it. He has good time. Things are, he's definitely in a much better place. He has a lot of access, and so do I. So that's definitely a beautiful thing. But again, when you have a whole town of weirdos that's conspiring with people, so I'm going to be creating a GoFundMe page regarding legal fees that I may end up getting, because I don't know how far this is going to go with the filings, the legal fees, as well as, relocation. In the name of, because I'm actually asking, I want a house. I want courts to award an actual home, a vehicle, a home paid in full, a new one, a modern one, but not in Texas. I want it in another state for the pain and suffering, punitive damages, and all that has been caused up to this very moment. For trying to destabilize us and trying to make it virtually impossible and trying to keep us restricted to happening to be in certain places and locations, or him happening to be, in order to have forced access unnecessarily to him. We do not, there's people that saying stuff like, our family is off limits because they're a part of the problem. They're our first betrayers. So that's not an option. Okay? And he nor I would be comfortable with anyone. So that is what I am seeking and petitioning with my ancestors, but also with the court. I want a house. I want motherfuckers to have to cough up the dough. I want a whole purchase home, bitch. You want to disrupt me. You want to cause me and my son. And I recommend that you all find your unique way. A lot of targeted individuals find themselves homeless and struggling. I see it as a trend. And I understand. I know the world may look at some of you all like misfits or slackers or something like that. And that's because they're ignorant and they haven't been on that receiving end. So, I do get it, and I recommend y'all try something similar as well, because that's what I feel like is going to be my remedy. It's not fuck all that. We're not doing that. We're not doing no more apartments. We're not doing apartments, programs, rentals. Even I want they ass to have to buy a whole property debt free for my son, in a location of my choosing, for disrupting our stability, for trying to destabilize us intentionally. For trying to unalive us for money, for insurance, for inheritance, and in some cases just for an energy source for their weird old rituals. And I will have, justice is going to prevail one way or the other. Either the judicial system is going to mount up, or they going to be handled accordingly. I shall have my justice. And every day that I am upset, and every day that these weirdos attempt to trigger, anger and reactive abuse to get some kind of a weirdo sadistic feed. Every moment of inconvenience, I am stacking it up. Every time some inbred walks in my presence on bullshit, I'm requiring something and I will have it. Every inconvenience, my son and I, every moment of sadness, every frustration, every time somebody is doing spell work and we can sense it and feel it, every time I'm requiring something on the lives and the heads of every cult, every group, every individual involved. People should have counted up the cost properly.